This is a Beyond the Badge with Vincent Hill Quick Fix on Radio Influence.
You know, I was in the barbershop last Thursday getting my hair cut because I knew I was going to New York. I think it was last Friday because I always get my hair cut a day before I'm going to be on national TV. So I'm at the barbershop. I'm sitting there. I'm waiting for my turn with my barber. And the guy in the chair is just talking about how police mistreat black people and it's dating back to slavery and they only shoot black people and, you know, the whole narrative we've heard on mainstream media. And in the back of my mind, I'm sitting there laughing because, A, I know statistically for every name he could give, I can give a white name of a person that was shot and killed by police. So he's talking, and finally the man in me gets the best of me. And I say, hey, so you ever heard of Justine Damon? He's like, nah, who's that? I was like, well, she was shot and killed by police less than a week ago. Well, no, I don't know. But I bet the officer was saying he was in fear of his life. And I bet the black lady didn't do anything. I said, well, here's the problem. Here's why you probably haven't heard of her. A, the officer was Somalian. And in this country, people see him as black unless he starts speaking and you know his name because he has dark skin. And I said, and she was actually white and not even white American. She was Australian. She wasn't even from here. I said, but you haven't heard of this, but yet you're talking about Philando Castile, and she was shot in Minneapolis, just like Philando Castile. So then he goes on to say, well, that's just because police are just ill-trained and they don't know what they're doing, and all they know how to do is kill people. So me, being the smart ass that I am, I said, well, how long were you a police officer? I was never a police officer, but I know that they don't know anything what they're doing. They're just untrained people who have guns. I was like, that's funny because I never shot and killed anyone, and I was a police officer for 5 years, and no, I can't recall where I've ever killed someone, and I think my training actually helped save my life and helped me from taking a life based on my training. So how are you saying police are not trained? And I said the bigger issue is that you believe this narrative that it only happens in the black community. I just told you of a white woman who was shot and killed by a black police officer, yet you had never heard of it. And I said, and for that white woman, Justine Damon, I can give you 3 other names of white women shot and killed by police in the U.S. this year that I guarantee never made it past the local 5 o'clock news. Of course, he really didn't have a comeback to that, but he said, but it still happens more in the black community than it does in the white community. And I'm like, okay, if that's your rationale, if that's what you believe, sir, I'm going to let you believe that. But I assure you, if you do your research, just like you didn't know about Justine Damon, you probably didn't know about Dylan Taylor, who was shot 3 days after Michael Brown, an unarmed white kid. I guarantee you didn't know about it, but you knew about Philando Castile, shot in Minnesota by police, but you didn't know about Justine Damon, who was shot in Minnesota by police. And you didn't even know that the same attorney that represented Philando Castile's family is representing her because you're so stuck on it only happens in the black community.
Beyond the Badge with Vincent Hill can be found on iTunes, Stitcher, and RadioInfluence.com.